A lot of people think it's very challenging to get a business idea being endorsed through Innovator Founder Visa.
I had the idea, but it is the structuring of the idea of putting it down on paper that is something very critical, especially for the application.
Was quite a lot of learning as well. So because Anubhav is bringing 20 plus years of experience from the ground, right? So theoretical knowledge I may have on the sustainability topics, but that the ground level knowledge that was quite insightful.
Welcome to today's podcast with Anubhav. Today we are going to be discussing one of the success story of our client who went through a business idea of a animal feed, which actually took him to the getting the Innovator Founder Visa. So welcome Anubhav on today's podcast with us. So I would like to first of all introduce yourself, who you are and what you're doing, and then we would like to know your story. How did you get the Innovator Founder Visa, and what was the journey all about it?
So, just to give you a brief background, I've been working in the animal feed industry for about 20 years now, and I wanted to apply for the Innovator Founder Visa because we thought that UK offers very good opportunities for the business. So, I got in touch with you guys, I think November, if I'm not wrong. And then that's where the journey started. And I think in a very short span of time, less than 6 months, I was able to get the visa. So I think, yeah, that's in short, the journey. And happy that I could connect with you guys, and you guys were so helpful.
Let's give a bit of context to our audience who is looking at today's podcast. A lot of people think it's very challenging to get a business idea being endorsed through Innovator Founder Visa. So first of all, when we met in November last year, we met at a conference in a Delhi itself, where one of the endorsing body came as a delegation. But what was the reason you were visiting that delegation? First question. And then what made you feel that okay, if we help you out, we help you out in structuring your documentations, would make your chance better for making an application for the endorsement?
So, Nakul, I think so why I was visiting is because I wanted to get more information about how the process works, what are the steps. I already had the idea. So definitely I was looking for validation, but clearly they wanted the application first and then the validation would come. But to answer your second part of the question, I think I had the idea, but it is the structuring of the idea of putting it down on paper that is something very critical, especially for the application. And that's what you guys also emphasized. And yes, so it's I wouldn't say that it's not a challenge. It's an easy process. I'm not saying it's an easy process. Your paperwork needs to be there. Your idea needs to be something which the endorsers are ready to if it meets the right criteria. Rahul knows about those criteria. Rahul, can you just jump in and tell me what were the criteria? Sorry, it has to be scalable, and it has to be
Innovative and viable.
viable, right? Because viability is something that they definitely look for, because in any business, viability is the core. And I think even not just endorsers, even if I come as a business from a business background, while innovation is critical, viability of the business is more critical, I would say. And yes, that's what you guys helped me bring out in the business plan.
Anubhav, like when you spoke with us, you must have spoken with multiple people like solicitors, immigration advisors, or the consultant. So, what made you feel confident that we would be able to help you out? You just had a quick interaction at the event itself, but what was the gut feeling you got that these guys can certainly help you out?
The gut feeling has to be backed by data, I would put it this way. And again, both you and Rahul have worked or have had experience of applying. One, second, you've had decent success stories. See, you've done it yourself, right? So there were multiple factors working in your favor. I'm not saying that others were not good, but I think these three were critical factors of having worked with endorsers also. So all these factors just combined to give a to tilt the balance in your favor. Let's put it this way.
When you saw the result after getting the endorsement results, we saw that your results were 84% out of 100%. Like in all the criterias combinedly, you got a 84%. By the way, when I interacted with you the first time, I was quite confident that you already have a very solid business idea, and you just need to have a documentation ready. But obviously, everybody was uncertain. When Rahul was working on your case itself, on your documentation itself, we always keep on having the in discussion within the team as well, how we can make it much stronger. But back of the mind, we thought it's a very strong case. But how was your feeling when you saw the result of 84%?
Corroborate on the point you said. A
Hmm.
good idea means nothing, to be really true. Like I could present the idea to anyone,
Hmm.
unless as the documentation part, which you guys worked on, you know,
Hmm.
I think Rahul put a lot of, I think we put Rahul 1 month on the Excel sheet, if not more.
Yeah, yeah, a little more than a month, but yeah.
To be really true, I think the application got delayed because we wanted to be completely thorough with the numbers, right? So the preparation which went in making sure that our numbers are correct, so that we meet the criteria, I think that
Yeah,
is the most critical part. You know,
correct.
obviously, the when your visa comes through, you are happy and you feel joy that finally the hard work has paid off. But
Yeah.
at the same time, the preparation or the groundwork for that is very important.
Tell us your experience working with Rahul specifically when you guys were interacting on a daily basis, or mostly, as you said, like the financial projection document itself took almost a month time period, and making satisfactory assumptions and backed by the evidences as well. So, how was the experience, Rahul, at your side as well as and Anubhav on your side as well?
As I said, that it was a good experience. I think we were working almost 24/7 because I would message Rahul at 12:30. We would talk at 12:30 in the night. We would again be at it at 11:30 in the morning. So we spoke through Holi as well, Holi holidays as well. So I think it was there was a lot of back and forth. Obviously, there were confusions in कि ये include करना चाहिए नहीं करना चाहिए etc etc. But I think even your Memuna, right, if I'm not wrong, she deserves a lot of credit
Yeah.
because she also was very proactive in getting things done as instructed or as, and she made her own contribution. I've not met her. I would love to meet her someday. But yeah, I think it was really good working with the whole team. So for me, it was a good experience.
The product or the innovation that Anubhav wanted to pitch for his endorsement application was something extremely unique, right? And it's a very niche topic. So working with Anubhav, because if I will have a question and if I text him, he will be very quick to respond back. And it was same. I mean, it was vice versa. But there, when you're but the people you're collaborating with, if they are responsive as well, it's more fun to work with those people, right? So for sure, it was really a lot of fun. Secondly, it was quite a lot of learning as well. So because Anubhav is bringing 20 plus years of experience from the ground, right? So theoretical knowledge I may have on the sustainability topics, but that the ground level knowledge that was quite insightful. We worked on the business plan and the financial model for almost 2 and 2.5 months together on those things. So almost every single line, every single number we went through at least half a dozen to a dozen times. And also, Anubhav will also have a conversation with his consultants, with his other colleagues, either in the UK or the friends in London or in India. And then he will come back and he will have new ideas. Okay, perhaps maybe this makes better projection than what we have, and then we will work again on those things. So it was back and forth, as Anubhav said, quite fun and interesting, lots of learning.
Hmm.
And finally, we have the result.
And let's talk about the criteria itself, like the three criteria: innovation, viability, and scalability. So let's talk individually about these criterias. Anubhav, like when you thought of it, the innovation itself, what was your thought process of how you would be making it innovative? And then when we work together, Rahul, you can add on from there on what we thought we added on as a value addition of making it a more paper-wise innovative, like on the paper. So, Anubhav, like what when you came up with the business idea, what was the things which you had in mind, and what you thought we added as a value addition in the innovation side of things?
Uh, Rahul, one thing which even the endorsement body looks at is how the innovation benefits the UK, right? So the innovation, because we've been working on it for some time, so we knew this is a product or this is a change which definitely fits the requirement of the UK market. Right? So I think that is one basic thing um, which anyone will look at when going for this visa, right? So I think that's where the innovation, that's what the innovation part from my end was. But again, having to be able to present it in a way, like I might have the idea, but as I said, a good idea is nothing without proper presentation. That's where your team came in, and you were able to put it in a way that the endorsers thought that it was worthy of giving a visa, right? So yes,
Yeah.
the innovation is critical, but it should fit the market that we're talking of. Like I can, if I think that a sourdough bread works in is an innovation in India, it's not an innovation in the UK. So my innovation or my idea has to fit the UK market.
Rahul, what's your thought on how the innovation which Anubhav brought in, how we were able to justify it, or your thoughts about it from working with Anubhav on that criteria itself?
Innovative product that Anubhav want to introduce in the UK is something very unique. It doesn't exist today, and as it doesn't exist today, that doesn't mean it is required in the UK market, right? So that positioning of making it as innovative product that is required in the UK, I think that was extremely important. And in the innovation itself, there are lots of nuances when it comes to specifically patents and licensing and all those things. So how you position every single document and evidence that shows that your technology readiness level, which a lot of European countries and the UK regulators as well as assessors look at, how ready is your technology to be implemented, how we position the innovation that it shows that if we get the visa or the endorsement, we'll be able to launch it, right? So
Yeah.
there was quite a lot of I will say a lot of strategic thinking that comes from Anubhav's side, the consultants he engaged there. So positioning products a little bit differently than how it works in India. So there was quite a lot of brainstorming, figuring out how to position that innovation as first innovative product, second required for the UK market.
I was saying is that what Rahul was saying, that I think anyone who's applying should also understand or should also keep it in mind that um, the strategic thinking, the way to present it, all this requires work. Like as Rahul said, that I had the right set of people who were, let's say, putting me on the right track.
Yeah.
Right. So having just having an idea will not take you through. Thinking through the idea and, as I said, adapting it to the market is what is required for the idea to succeed. Because as Rahul said, the product, while it is unique for the UK market, similar products already exist.
Mm.
But how do you differentiate yourself from that? Right? I
Yeah.
think those parts are very critical.
And I just would like to add on for our audience. A lot of people think then when we talk about innovation, it has to be through digital technology or it need to be patented technology itself. But that is not the case always. First of all, our live example is Anubhav. He's coming from an animal feed industry, and without the digital technology expect presenting his innovation within his business model, and how he was bringing a value addition to the UK market, he was able to justify that the innovation within the business idea without having patents and without having the digital technology angle added on. It is quite possible. So a lot of people get lost in between those, and they think that's the only way, but that is not true. Like people from hardware industry, animal feed industry, even any industry, if they are having a good business idea, and it's not there in the UK market, and there's a need for that product in the market, it's possible to bring that idea to the UK market. Now, coming to the second criteria, which is the viability. Viability is just classified. We classify it into two subcategories, which are entrepreneurial viability, and second is the financial viability. The entrepreneurial viability is like entrepreneuring coming from the similar kind of experience, industry experience, education, then the financial viability goes with the as per your financial model, the whatever the budget required in the first year, you need to show evidences as a part of your documentation. Let's starting from the first part, which is the entrepreneurial viability. Anubhav, you did your MBA from Oxford University, which is one of the best in the world. And prior to that, you had a engineering background. So that is something giving you a mechanical thinking, and MBA gave you a business thinking. And but the last 20 years of your experience were coming from the food like animal feed industry itself. So which was kind of a very good collateral, or substantiate your experience within this industry. That's one of the very good metrics. And then the financial documentation. So there are five elements of it. I just put it for my audience. Then you share your thoughts on and experience from it. So the financial viability comes with your own. Basically, you can provide five particular ways of showcasing your financial viability. First is like your bootstrap capital. Second is family and friends. You can get a letter of intent and the bank statement. Third is angel investors, VC investors. You get interest from them. Fourth is you can get apply the grants for funding for your project. And the fifth one is revenue reinvestments from your current company or other companies. So Anubhav, share your experiences, how you met these criterias, and Rahul, you can add on from there on.
Well, I think investment or funding is uh, something that any business needs, whether it be in India, in UK, or anywhere in the world. So where the funds come from, that has something that needs to be thought of before you go into business, right? Before you apply for not just the visa, but if you plan to set up a business. And um, again, with my background, in the sense with my experience, if anyone is coming to me that I want to set up a business, I would ask for what is your capital for at least 1 year of survival, 1.5 years of survival. Because projections are one thing, paper is one thing, but out in the field, your expenses are completely different. So if someone comes to me that I have, let's say, 50 lakh rupees and my burn rate is 4 lakh rupees a month, so I know that he can survive for 12 months. But if he comes to me saying that I have 10 lakh rupees and my burn rate is 5 lakh rupees, that business is not viable. So even in my case, I had a discussion with investors. I had my own personal funds, which I was bringing to the table before planning to set up the business. And I think that's what endorsers also look for. That because any serious business person or any serious not an investor or any serious person who's coming in will need money to, especially UK is an expensive country. So you have to account for expenses which you can never think. And I'm not just saying to people from India, anywhere in the world, UK still remains an expensive country.
Rahul, your thoughts on that?
Anubhav touched on a few things, which is 1 year of your financials, and the five different ways you laid out the people listening to this past podcast. So in Anubhav case, because he's already in the business for 20 plus years, right? So the finances were sorted out in terms of bank statements and stuff. Um, Perhaps how much we should show from personal, from the company revenue we're investing and all of that. Those are a couple of things we figured it out as we went through the financial projections and models, how much we should show as initial capital investment and all of that. On top of on viability, when I think of a few of the things that we were really careful in our financial projections were that, for example, our cash flow, almost none of the months we had a positive, negative cash flow, because if you run out of the cash, then there's no business. That business is not viable. Forget the scaling part, just this survival part, right? So a couple of these things, profit and loss, you can be negative, and that's fine, right? But even with the numbers, that detailing is extremely required, and you cannot just say I'm cash positive by just putting a random number. All the numbers should be linking back to each other. How much your head count, how much are your marketing and all those costs. So I think from there, that point of view also, that positioning is extremely important.
Yeah, so talking, that's a very good insights about the viability aspect itself. Talking to the scalability, which is quite exciting in sense, but the sometimes people get confused. It's just like a business growing in the UK means scalability, but how we justify it, or we think it's more justifiable, is like have business can scale in two aspects. One is the in one by having the business expansion, geographical expansion, and second is the revenue model expansions. What it means, like geographical expansion is like you are first serving in London, then you started serving in Greater London, then England, then whole of UK, and then perhaps outside of UK, exporting the services. That's a geographical expansion. Secondly, it's a business revenue model expansion. So perhaps you have first one revenue stream, then you added another services, then it becomes two revenue streams, then third revenue streams, so and go so on. So that way, like perhaps you are adding up the services, which is a complementary to the primary services, and that keeps on adding your revenue. So that is also scalable thing. Coming to the second point, which is like traction of scalability, uh, just putting on the paper that okay, this is gonna we would be achieving it, uh, and showing traction shows where you have gone and try to got the results out of what you're putting on the paper as a projections. So from the baseline, which is which is showing the projections, you show a little bit of traction, like it's going through. So Anubhav, what was your experience in proving the scalability? And Rahul, how did you help Anubhav on that aspect too?
Well, to be true, Rahul, just to talk about traction, initially it was really frustrating because how could I know anything about the market if I'm not in the market? But now looking back, I think it is one of the critical aspects. It is one of the important factors for me to at least know where I'm going. And I don't think the endorsing body is asking for was asking for me to do the field visits or anything. But talking to people, email exchanges, doing secondary research, all those primary and secondary research over the phone. It is possible to do it from outside the country as well. Being in the country is not really is not the only thing. This So, but yes, I think coming to the scalability question, I can talk of my business that the market exists for this product or this sector, and it's definitely a scalable business if you look at it. And UK being UK, there is scope for every industry. Whether you talk of IT, you talk of services, you talk of products, you should know your market well. I think that's where scalability comes. And again, if today I really don't know how IT works, but if I today at 100, and if I say in year three I will be 10,000, I think it sounds a bit unrealistic. So realistic expectations is what everyone should have. Again, experience counts there. And a lot of people who are applying might be quite young. So my word of advice is that if you're applying, keep your expectations sober, because UK does not work like India does.
Scalability part, there are two points that someone needs to prove, right? One is the traction, which in our case, initially we were struggling. We were trying to see how we need to demonstrate that. There were already visits from Anubhav's side to the UK, engaging with the different stakeholders. So a lot of groundwork were done, and he did visit once UK, which is not required in general, as he said. Just having those email conversations actually helped with the endorsement application. It was not flight tickets. It was those email conversations saying, "It was nice meeting you. These are the things we discussed, and these are my action plans." Or sometimes they were welcoming to say, "I will be happy to introduce XYZ person." So those type of mails and communications actually help from real people, from genuine people, which can be validated in some ways if the endorsing body asks for. So that's the traction part where you are saying, I understand. And there was also a lot of work done by some of the from on our side on primary and secondary research. We did a lot of work also on the research side to see there is genuine demand for the market. There is competition, but there is still gap in the market in terms of product and positioning. Um, and then showing there is request in the market to have such products, right? The different forces in the market, the policy side is pushing for such product or such innovation. Then on the market, that is also rolling down a snowball reaction on the consumer demand side. So linking back some of these consumer manufacturing and the policy side, those are some of the positionings we had to get done correctly. The second part of the scalability comes to which Anubhav also touched a little bit on the financials, right? And there, one thing which I said on the viability side, the cash flow. Now on the scalability side, going back, what is your lifetime value of a single client? That also explains how much you need to keep investing in your marketing and branding, and how much that how many people you would require over a period of time. And that also helps the business explain if they're ever going to be profitable to self-sustain in some ways or other ways, right? So that sort of critical analysis, um, understanding the market, doing that research, and then projecting numbers based on the market data, not just I'm coming and saying I will only invest, because we do receive people coming in, fresh graduates, saying the endorsing body doesn't say any amount needed to be invested. So why do we need to show money? But there is no product, almost nothing in the market where there is no competition. And even if there is no competition, how people are going to know about you, right? So there needs to be some value of investment to be done in sort of marketing and branding and hiring people, even for field visits in Anubhav case, which was required, right? Because it's an annual feed product, you need to meet the um, uh, clients, the farmers, and all of that. So I think these two critical parts, the traction, which we need to show, and that includes primary, secondary research, meeting is different stakeholders, having that conversation, genuinely trying to understand if there is need. And the second one is your financial numbers should say over the course of 3 to 5 years, you'll be able to actually make a business, not just keep investing and burn the cash.
Yeah, Rahul, it all makes sense. I know, like you got a 3 years visa. That's the great thing. Like with IFE, like Innovator Founder Visa, you get an opportunity to live in the UK without any restriction. Obviously, you would be working on your primary business. For my audience, just to let everybody know, Anubhav applied from outside of the UK. He was not even in the UK for a while. After did his masters, he was running a business as a director in India, and he applied it from outside of the UK. So for people who are within the UK, it's much more easier because you guys are able to position yourself much better by integrated in the society, showcasing the traction what Rahul was mentioning. So think of that perspective. Like if people from outside of the UK can get it, then for people who within the UK have better opportunity to present traction. So that's one of the case. So Anubhav, now you're getting a visa for 3 years to run your business in the UK. So how does it feel like? What are your plans on executing it phase by phase? And you need to report on an annual basis to your endorsing body. So what are your plans on growing up your business?
New business anywhere in the world isn't the most easy thing. And I think we highlighted or we did cover that in our business plan also. So definitely looking forward, but it will not be there will be challenges. That's true in every new field. Uh, but I'm excited. I think looking forward, and it's a big market, and I'm sure we will be able to achieve the targets that we've set. We'll be able to achieve more than the targets we've set in the next 3 years. So yeah.
A few things for getting an ILR, for my audience to know that you need to meet minimum two criterias out of the seven laid out criterias or conditions, I would say. So let me just put it out on for everyone. So first one, perhaps you having 50,000 pounds of investment in your business. Again, this 50,000 pounds investment can come through your somebody as an investor investing in it, yourself investing in it, or a company reinvesting their profits within the business. That these are the valid cases which you can build. Second is you are increasing your customer base from what you started with, and increasing doubling down on your customer base, which is as per the market standard. Third is having a revenue of 1 million pounds in the next 3 years time period. Fourth is doing a £500,000 of exports business, which Anubhav is also planning to do, I believe. And the fifth one is employing the UK based employees. If you are employing five UK based settled citizen, or the ILR holder with a minimum salary of £25,000, that counts. If not, then employing 10 plus 10 plus residents in the UK. That is also one of the case. And the seventh one is applying for an IP, showcasing the IP as a patent or intellectual property. So these are the 7 ways, out of which you need to target minimum two. If you are able to showcase 3 or 4, that's a more very good case. But minimum two you need to build upon. So that's a bit challenging, but if your focus is to grow your business, it's very easy journey, to be honest. If your primary focus is to build up your business and growing your business, it's very much achievable. And then after 3 years you are gonna get an ILR. That's the best thing. Right now, Anubhav, being on an innovator founder visa, you can bring your family, your dependents as well. That's a good part. And you also have the freedom to work on other stuff apart from running your main business. So how does it feel, and what's your journey looking like right now, as a final thoughts or a final comments on that?
Um, as I said, it's an exciting new phase. Uh, there is lots to do, but again, at the same time, you have to be ready for the challenge. But UK offers a good opportunity, and that's why we signed up. That's why I signed up for the visa, and I think that's why your audience is also looking for a visa. It's a great country to be in. It's a lot of growth opportunities. It's a developed country, no doubt, and all the best.
Yeah. Rahul, any final thoughts on the
I
ILR
mean,
thing or the conditions meeting, or any other thoughts you have?
for this entire podcast or just the ILR thing first?
ILR thing first, and
Both.
then the entire podcast.
Okay. I mean, on the ILR thing, I would say if someone has genuinely innovative idea, meeting two criteria is not difficult at all. Or if someone genuinely want to grow their business, even not that innovative to get a patent, it's still not difficult to meet two criteria. Um, and then this can also lead to some other ways for you to continue with your entrepreneurial journey, right? So certainly, I mean, in Anubhav case, what we have worked on and everything, he's going to meet all the criteria pretty soon. So I'm very confident about Anubhav. And that's what I think other people should be looking at when they are starting preparing for the application. How I'm going to meet some of these in 2 to 3 years time.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for attending. Thanks, Anubhav, for giving us time
Thanks,
from your
Abdul.
busy schedule. Now we hope you had a great life in the UK. And for all our audience, if they need any kind of guidance or support or mentoring sessions, first of all, we are not immigration advisors. We are just a coach who can help you, guide you through how you need to build up your business. That's what we can help you out. So it's a more of a business consulting, business coaching. That's what we can help you out. But if you need any guidance on that or support on that, please reach out to us, and we would be able to give you directions on how to take your journey on innovative founder endorsements. So thank you so much, guys, and thank you, Anubhav, for coming on today's
Thanks,
podcast. And
thank you.
we'll speak soon with everyone. All right, ciao.
Sure.